So this is a lens I've started on it in the corner. You can see it looks different to where I've broken the adhesive bead to where it's still secured. So get your tool, put it in, give it a wiggle, and it does sound like breaking plastic because that's what you're doing. You are actually breaking. The lens, outer lens, is basically super glued. That's what what it appears they use to join them up. So as you're working your tool around, you are basically breaking plastic. It will sound like that. Hopefully it goes without saying, but don't go too mental. So you can see around here the line where I've started to break some of it away. It's pretty much all done. When you get to a point where you can sort of wedge your fingernails in, try to find some leverage on it. When it does part, it makes a pretty horrible sound, which you'll hear in a minute. But just be careful. Obviously it is fairly brittle plastic, but it will come eventually. There you go. So it is quite a nasty sound, but just use your brain a little bit and don't go too mad. You'll be left with lots of shards like this all around it. That's basically the remnants of the glue that they've used. On the lens side of it, well, the outer lens is the rest of it. So you want to clean that up as well as you can. Take your time with this, get as much of this off as you can. Don't go too mad and sort of file things away, sandpaper in there and all that. The cleaner this looks now, the easier it will be to replicate that finish when you do get to bonding it back together again. What I found was quite useful, get a knife or a blade, not so much a screwdriver. I didn't seem to get much luck with it. This particular one was an absolute bastard. There was a lot of really thick glue. This is the second set I've done. Have to be honest, I experimented on my parents' car just to see how it all sort of went together. But the lenses that on theirs really did come off a lot easier and cleaner than these. They've just got a normal MK5 Golf, so might be different there. So work away as much as you can. You will find big sort of sections like this. Can you see where it's gone sort of a red colour? That's basically the adhesive bead. What tends to happen on the other that I did, I could get a blade underneath and pull and it would come off in a long sort of line, but this stuff just didn't want to have any of it. But it does come away fairly cleanly. You can see sort of what's left. Watching this back now, yeah, be careful of your fingers. In case you're wondering, the spoon, that's the kind of shit you'll be left with. A lot of it. It's worth wearing safety goggles here. I did have some safety goggles on because that plastic goes everywhere. But the spoon on the outer lens bit, the adhesive sort of forms a little ridge. You can get a blunt instrument spoon, I just found quite easy to do, underneath and just literally lift that stuff off. So clean it up as well as you can. Like I said, don't go mad with sandpaper and stuff like that. That was all done with the blade and just lifting the adhesive off. That's what you're left with. See the little ridge there? That's what I was getting the spoon underneath and just lifting up, and it was coming away quite nicely. You can see there I've actually got shattered quite a bit of the plastic off. But when you come to seal it back in, just remember where that is and put a little bit more sealant on it and you'll be fine. Test fit it, just make sure you've not messed anything up really bad. And you can see the finish around the edges, right around there. It looks like broken plastic because, well, it is. But the sealer, when you put that back in, it should recreate a factory-ish finish. Only if you really look at it, it's different. So the inner lens needs to come off. Be real careful. This is pretty horrible plastic, secured in place with 3 lugs. Those lugs are very weak. I found though, I mean, as long as you've got 2 of them left, it will all go back together and it doesn't rattle at all. So just be careful, but lift it off as straight as you can, and you're left with that. Now what I've done, I've just measured where those little lugs locate. I've measured the depth because what I wanted to do is have an LED angel eye ring facing backwards so the light reflects off the reflective bit. So once I know the depth, measure the depth of the ring, and then I know the space I want to sort of offset the angel eyes. So I use just clear pipe. Clear, what did I use for it? I think it's just fuel line, I don't know. Can't remember where I found it, but anyway. Marked up the spaces, drilled little holes. The holes to secure the fishing line that I'm going to use are 1mm holes, and then to get the wires through it is a 2.5mm, but obviously choose what you need to get the job done. So all marked, all drilled, and just check obviously before you drill that it's not going to foul anything. That's the fishing line. You can just see on the table the area there, the pre-cut clear pipe. So literally thread it, put the fishing line through the needle, and off you go. Okay, there's the little pipes I used. So cut them up just so I've got enough, as much standoff space as I can. Now, this is a pain in the arse threading this stuff through. Easiest way I found to do it was secure the one where the cables are going to come through, and then work your way around. So basically, I've just doubled up the fishing line. I found it really, really useful to put some masking tape around the ends, because believe me, when you're trying to find these things and tighten them up and tie them, it's just a pain in the arse because you can hardly see the thing. So nice and tight. The reason I use fishing line like this is I didn't really want like a glue or anything like that holding them on, because I hope not to have to open these things up again. Obviously, potentially, if the LEDs do go pop, I might have to at some point, but with cedar in there, it will be a lot easier than when it was super glued together. But yeah, I didn't want to glue the angel eyes in just in case over time they rattle free. So I just figured tie them on. The fishing line's fairly strong, not amazing, but strong enough. Just tie them on as tight as you can without breaking the fishing line, of course. There's a bit of a knack to tying it tightly, but you'll figure it out. Just in case it's not apparent how I'm actually setting this up, so the fishing line goes through from the outer, goes through the pipe, up and over, round the angel eye, back through the pipe, back through the hole, tighten it up at the back, so nice and secure, full securing points. Hopefully it's not going to go anywhere. There's no heat really generated by the LED, so it's very unlikely to get too hot and sort of work its way free. Well, I hope not anyway. And this is basically just checking it all fits together, make sure the wires are free, they're not fouling on anything. Yeah, looks pretty good. Then once it's all back together, give it a wipe. You will have touched that reflective lens somewhere. Just give it a wipe as well as you can. Obviously not too vigorously, because you'll potentially snap the fishing line. Grab the lens, give that a little go over as well. And pop it back on. Make sure it's lined up right, and make sure that those tags line up right. You see around the edge there's a lot of sort of holes, they all line up to the top as well, so basically once you've lined the lugs up, the top parts will kind of centre it properly, and then push down. And then finally just check the lens fits okay, and then we're ready for the next bit.